All right, so hey everybody. I am back for the second day in a row because I got another request for a reading, an astrological reading, and I know if it was me, I wouldn't want to wait very long. So since I had the time, it's a Sunday, I thought I would go ahead and do it. I typically won't be filming every day, but we'll go ahead and do this one today. So, this is from a lady with the initials of JWS, and she was born December 13th. No, that's today. No, she was born December 17th, so she has a birthday coming up in 69. Um, so, and her name is Julie. So, Julie, your rising sign, um, which is not your sun sign. Now, you were known as a Sagittarius. I'm sure that you're aware of that. Rising is not the same as your sun. I mentioned this in the other videos, but I don't know if you watched it or not. And I won't go through all of this every time, but I'm going to give a brief overview of what those things mean. So the rising sign is sort of your view of the world, how you see things. It's almost like your vision. It's the best way I know how to put it, is how you see things. And yours is an Aries, which is a fire sign, a cardinal fire sign. And your sun sign is also a Sagittarius, which is also a fire sign. So you are on fire, girl. You have lots of fire. And your moon sign is also in Aries, which we have in common. That's a great place for a moon sign. Well, it's a little difficult, but it really is a great place. You can do a lot of things with that. So let's start. So I told you what the rising was, and I think well, no, you don't know what, no, you know Sagittarius. Aries is the sign of the child. It is very much a free spirit. I don't want to say they're self-righteous, but when there's an injustice, typically they will speak out. There is, they're not going to hold back. Sometimes Aries has to put their foot in their mouth. One of the problematic things with the sign, besides speaking before, acting before thinking things through, is that when an Aries is angered, they don't listen very well. They're not always rational. So, kind of the point, as I mentioned before, with a natal chart, is that it's an opportunity for growth. It's not all of who you are. It's not your entire composition. It's something that the universe has given to you. I've mentioned that yesterday. You also have genetics that you are clearly dealing with, your family and whatever they passed down to you, and the environment that you were brought up in. So there's lots of factors to who you are. But as far as just a general personality layout, you have a natal chart, and it's really cool. And what it is I'll just mention it one more time, is it's the time that you were born and where you are. All of the planets were lined up in a certain way, and that is your natal chart. So it's very specific to you, and it's really very neat. So, rising sign, like I said, view of the world, that would make you just, I guess, I know Aries very well. I feel like an Aries. And just from my own personal experience and knowing that it's in rising, you probably have the feeling that you want all to be free spirits and everybody to have their own opinion and space in the world and not to be held back. Aries do not like to be held back. I've never known one who wasn't expressive and didn't have fairly strong opinions about certain issues, certain subjects. Your sun is Sagittarius, which you know. It's a mutable sign, though. So mutable means that it is a little more easily changed. I mentioned cardinal, too. I should also talk about that. Cardinals, those are the movers and the shakers. They're the ones that really get things going in society. And you have you have several cardinal and several mutable. So you're a nice little combination of flexibility and strength. You've got a good bit of both. So the Sagittarius fire sign, mutable sign, it's fun-loving. It's high-spirited, energetic. If a Sagittarius is in good shape, they like to be outdoors. and just feel nature. If they happen to have been brought up in a religious home, then they tend to be very religious or spiritual. They don't have to be. That really has a lot more to do with it has a lot more to do with your upbringing. But if you've been given some type of upbringing in that way, in that direction, chances are you've stuck with it, or you found something that suits you and you feel fairly passionate about it. Activity. Those are two things I've noticed a lot about Sagittarians, and this is in your sun sign. So people are going to see you as fun-loving, spirited, energetic when you're feeling well, when you're feeling your best. Because remember, all of these signs, they have their good qualities and their negative, poor qualities. So whenever you're feeling really well, all the good qualities are going to shine. And when you're not feeling so well, we'll see the others, just like anything else. Your moon sign, as I mentioned, is also in Aries. Yay! It's a great place for a moon sign, even though, I don't know, I say that because mine is. Again, Aries is a cardinal sign, mover and a shaker. You're somebody who's going to have some strong opinions about things. But the moon sign is a watery place, and Aries is fire. So they're not always compatible. It might make things a little confusing for you at times. Your emotions may tend to, how do I say this? Not be as clear as you want them to be. It might take you some time to figure out what it is that you are feeling. You know that something might be off, but you don't quite know what it is. So that's one of the biggest parts about that, and also the fact that they will stand up for and like I said, any injustice or deprived people, deprived souls. They'll only take so much, and they like to help. They really do. Aries is a sign of the child, so their needs need to be met first. But if they are met, they're out there to help other people. It's not necessarily something that's written in stone, but it's something that I've noticed with a lot of Aries. So that's more of my personal opinion, what I've seen. Mercury is your communication sign, and that's also a cardinal sign. So let's start with that. I should have mentioned that in the beginning. We have cardinal. I didn't say this yesterday. Cardinal, mutable, and fixed. The cardinal signs are Aries. Goodness gracious. They're Aries. They're Libra. I believe. I think I have it written down over here, so I almost forgot. I can't find the other ones. And Cancer, the water sign. The Libra was the air sign. And Capricorn is the earth sign. And then the fixed signs are Taurus, Scorpio. Taurus is an earth sign. Scorpio is a water sign. Where else are we? And then we have Leo as a fire sign. It's very, very much fixed sign. And Taurus too. And then we have cardinal, fixed, and then the mutable are Geminis. They are Pisces. Pisces is water. Gemini is air. Sagittarius is fire. And Virgo is an earth sign. So those all have an effect too with the placement of your natal chart. As I said, cardinals are movers and shakers, and mutable is exactly as it sounds in my mind. They're easily changed. Opinions can change. That's a good and a bad thing. They tend to be easily swayed unless they're strong enough in their convictions and the rest of their chart is strong enough for them to hold their own opinion. So it really kind of depends on the person, on how mutable that sign is for them. Fixed signs tend they're usually pretty darn fixed. They're stubborn, they have their way, and no one's going to change that way. It's very hard to get a fixed sign to change thoughts or have different attitudes about anything, about any subject. Once they have their mind set on how they feel about a subject, they stick with it. You do not, you only have one, you have one fixed sign, which is in Jupiter. We'll get to that in just a minute. But so Mercury is communications, as I said, cardinal. Which is a great placement, and it's yours is in Capricorn. So any Earth sign in the communications department is a good place for it to be. That means that you're going to be very good at organizing, speaking well, careful thinker, real concise. You're not going to just talk off the top of your head, even though I just said you also have that Aries. So there's a little bit of a balance there. So I would say with you, if something strikes you emotionally, you may not think before you act. But if you're mature enough and your Mercury kind of has taken over more, then you will think things through. But perhaps if something gets you fired up enough, you might not take the time to think it through. You might just act. And Aries can get fairly aggressive. Sagittarius too, when they're upset, when they're angered, they will or not even that. I wouldn't say that. It's not so much when they're angered. Sagittarius, when they're not in their best, they'll do anything to rebel. They're very good. They'll do anything to feel like they've rebelled against society. So that's an interesting thing to chew on. And that is your sun sign. Knowing your profession, that actually makes a lot of sense. So that's interesting. We discussed Moon and Mercury. So that Capricorn, though, does keeps you grounded. It keeps you thoughtful, careful thinker, and it grounds you some. Earth sign, having Earth in your chart is very important to keep a person fairly grounded, because a lot of us are kind of just floating around with lots of stress, anxiety, and thoughts that we don't know what to do with. The more grounded we are, the more centered we are, the more here, present, and thoughtful we are. So having Earth signs in your chart is a good thing. Your love nature is in Sagittarius. Again, mutable. So that's interesting. I haven't done too many people with Sagittarius love natures, but from what I know, it would make you very loyal in a relationship. You know that you need to be loyal, and you'll remain that way as long as the other person remains loyal to you. But you're not, how to say this, you're not going to be the ushy-gushy type. And someone who is too emotionally attached to you could be a big turnoff. I don't think that you would do well with that. At least not that placement. I don't know. Maybe if you found someone you're really, really in love with and they have a little more of that than you'd like, you may very well just deal with it. But it is Venus in Sagittarius typically does not really go well with people that are emotionally possessive. That's just not their strong. That's not something that they really enjoy. But your loyalty, your interest will stay pretty constant as long as it's reciprocated. I can't say that word very well. And you feel like you're with the right kind of person. So the relationship feels good. You will stay loyal. And then there's two more. Mars. Mars is your taskmaster planet. Yours is in Pisces. It's the only water, actually two water signs. Pisces are emotional, sensitive, vulnerable. And Taskmaster has a lot to do with how you project yourself. I said project yourself before. It's more, I see it more in a work ethic, work environment, but not just that. Just think of any way in which you are, you're asserting yourself and getting things done. And yours is in, like I said, it's in Pisces. It's a mutable sign, so easily changed. Um, Pisces is pretty good at going with the flow for the most part. Um, that placement, even though you've got all this fire and all of this strength in your chart, that one place is going to make you sensitive and vulnerable and might make it sometimes difficult for you to express yourself, make you overly sensitive. Um, you may not always know how to assert yourself as you should. So don't forget to speak up and be you and take care of yourself. Um, oh, and also, I'd forgotten about this. The Pi- Pisces and that sign typically means that you require a lot of sleep to maintain your health. So don't forget that. Don't underestimate that. Sleep is important for anyone's health. That's when all the healing takes place. It's so crucial, but it's even more important for you for the way that your chart is lined up. So make sure you get your rest. The last one that I'm going to do, and there are more. I discussed that last night. I didn't do Jupiter last night, and I'm speaking for so long. I'm trying to find a way to make this more concise so I can do all of it, because there's a few more signs that are personal, then there's a couple that are generational. Another personal sign is Jupiter. Yours is in Scorpio, which is a very fixed sign. Scorpios are pretty stubborn. They're also emotional, but they don't express those emotions very well. They don't want that emotion to be seen. So that sensitivity that you do have is probably pretty well hidden, considering you have all of this Aries, Sagittarius, and Capricorn, all these strong signs, all this fire and earth. And then you just got this little Pisces just sitting there. Probably makes you, is probably just hidden kind of deep within you. Especially with that, now that I see that you have that Jupiter is in Scorpio. And like I said, it's a fixed sign. So those water signs tend to be emotional. Scorpios are a little less. And if they are, they don't talk about it much. They don't show it well. What they like to do, this sign of Jupiter has to do with principles of growth and expansion and healing. And a Scorpio and Jupiter likes to dig deep beneath the surface. That would actually have a lot to do with, that kind of goes well with the rest of your chart. You're going to want to study people and look beneath the surface. You don't take anything just for face value. I don't believe. I can't imagine that you would, especially with the rest of the chart that you have. You'd probably be pretty intuitive if you allow yourself to be. But you've got to listen to your gut. You have to listen to the little voice in the head, not the crazy voice, just the little things that is telling you. If something's nudging you, if something is pushing at you, that's intuition. You need to listen to it. You probably have quite a bit of it. I really believe that you do. But it might be a little harder to see with all of this fire, because it's so passionate and emotional, and in that very strong-willed kind of way. You might not always see or be able to feel your intuition, but it is there. And in that Capricorn too, your communications, that kind of blocks that intuition. It really does. It's very rational and thoughtful and careful, but the rest of your chart is not. It's fun loving. It's high spirited. and it's sensitive. So it's pretty cool. I think you've got a very interesting chart. It's not incredibly balanced, but it's very interesting. There are definitely lessons to be learned if you want to. It's really all up to you. You can take your chart and throw it away, or you can take it and really think about it and recognize any of those things that are still, any of the negativities that are still a part of you, and try to grow with them, because I find there's a reason that you're given everything that you're given. And as you go through life and you become more self-aware, we're always becoming more self-aware no matter how old we are. I thought I knew everything at 20. I didn't know anything. I'm 43 and I'm still learning about myself. It's unreal. But if you want to look at the negative things that the signs can bring and how they have affected you, those are the things to work on. It's the reason that they're there. They're there for your spiritual growth. It's actually a blessing if you can believe that or not, or believe in that. I'm not sure if you do, but I do. And I know that knowing about my chart has been an amazing thing for me to learn about. And when I did, it started my journey. It really did. The lesson of energy and what that meant, and then learning about the fact that something as great as the planets being lined up in a certain way when I'm born, and how that affected me and who I am. I just think that's phenomenal. The universe is a beautiful thing, and whatever you believe in, if you believe in a religion or just the spirit of the earth, or if you believe in Mother Nature or Mother Mary or whatever it is that you believe in, it's all beautiful. I really truly feel it's all beautiful. Even going through the really difficult experience of lymphoma, it taught me a lot. And I don't want to say that, I don't want to sound trite and all that and saying it gave me a new lease on life. I mean, it did, but what it did was it really opened my eyes, I guess. And I think that's pretty amazing. So that I was given that opportunity. Instead of going through life with blinders, I was forced to open my eyes even more and see more than I ever imagined was out there. Just like I'm doing this little YouTube video. I don't know how well it's liked, but I'm enjoying doing it, and I know it's going to continue to get better, but it's fun for me. It's not something I ever thought I'd do. So, you all have a great day, night, whenever you listen to this. I hope you enjoy it, and I'm going to work on making this, cutting down my time. I know it's taking me a long time to get it out. Maybe I should plan it. I think I'm going to start planning them more so they can come out in a faster, more concise way. But, I would love any more requests, so please do. Thank you so much, and any comments are appreciated. Have a great day. Bye.